Right, hello. It is early January. Sun's out, feeling quite pleasant. It's about 6 degrees, maybe 7. Feel a bit of warmth coming from the sun. Let's have a look at these Yucca recurvifolia. Seems to be a really rock solid yucca. You get no damage on these whatsoever. They really are, I think, one of the toughest yuccas, well, I grow anyway. For the UK, you don't get any problems with marking or spot on the leaves. When they're young, they get quite a nice crinkly look to the leaf. Obviously, as they get bigger and mature, the foliage does tend to droop down a bit, hence recurve the folia, but they are still very, very sharp, so they still could be classed as a fairly dangerous plant, but that's exactly why I've got them around the pond, to stop the herons landing and eating my fish. So yeah, nice pleasant sunny day after yesterday, which was grey and raining practically all day. Past week we have had some cooler nights. I know, well, I'm right on the east coast, so we didn't get as cold as some places. I know some places were getting, I don't know, -3, -4. The lowest I've recorded in the garden is still only -1.1, so that ain't too bad. So yeah, quite lucky here in daytime temperatures. We've had quite a sunny week. We've had a lot of sun, and even though we did have a couple of frosts, bounce back temperatures, we've still been getting 5-6 degrees during the day. Just wanted to mention the aspidiscus, or cast iron plant, down here. Maybe you can see that. So that is in a pot, not protected at all. Normally I would put them in the unheated greenhouse over winter, but I thought I'd push it a bit this year. Yeah, I've got a little bit of protection from the bamboo there. Yeah, I've got another smaller pot somewhere. Oh, maybe I moved it. Thought I had it underneath the overhang of the summer house, but I must have moved it somewhere else. Anyway, so yeah, that's quite a hardy plant. Never really seen it take any damage. I have cut most of my cannas down. I've left these dwarf cannas, obviously they're all browned off now. Obviously they're still green inside, but I'll leave them as they are. They're not, too big to cause a problem, and sort of protect the rhizomes with the old foliage on there. I'll cut that back when spring hits, and hopefully when you start getting a bit of growth, I'll just cut the old foliage back and let the new stuff come through. Saying that, we have still got a bit of green in the back here. So the Schefflera, unknown species, has obviously not done well in the frosts. Leaves have totally died and browned off. I have wrapped a bit of fleece around the bottom. There are still some green leaves there, so we'll see on that one if that puts on a new flush in spring. So yeah, in general, just a little look round. Nothing's growing obviously, but other than the weeds, still getting all the weeds growing. And interestingly, actually, from years ago, I put scattered a load of what are they, California poppy seeds, and they come up every year, but yeah, they're still green, so that's quite unusual. They normally die off and obviously start coming up in spring. I've actually got some standard poppies there as well coming up. So yeah, it has been mild. The grass is still growing, the weeds are still growing. So it's probably a good time actually to check and just pull out any clumps of grass or weeds that are growing in your borders. I've certainly got plenty. Look at all this grass coming up here. Yeah, so there are still jobs to be done on a nice day when you can come out and just do a bit of weed and keep on top of things. I have got some bags of mulch, so I was going to give stuff a good, or the main borders a good weed, and then get some mulch down just to suppress the weeds for a bit. You can see the Persicaria red dragon is pretty much died back now, just red sticks. But again, I'll leave that until I start getting some new growth at the bottom, and I'll just cut it all back. I'm a little bit concerned about this cordyline superstar. I mean, obviously with the frosts I expected a little bit of damage, as you can see that spotting on the leaves there. It's not going to kill it, the frosts, but certainly damages the leaves. But this particular one seems a bit top heavy, it's a little bit wobbly. Quite an exposed position there, and with it being top heavy you get the winter winds, and it has been rocking a little bit. I did put a couple of little stakes in there just to hold it in position, but I think I'm going to need a bit more, something a bit more substantial for that. Because cordylines, if they're not rooted well, they will get top heavy, and if they fall over, that sets them right back. That won't kill them, but that slows them right down. So if you can stake them in, they've got a lot better chance of getting some decent growth out of them. So while we're talking about the cordylines, let's have a look at the rarer one, the cordyline indivisor. Obviously I pretty much let nature take its course with this one. So we've got leaves built up around the crown, which obviously I'm going to leave because that's going to protect the growing point, probably the most sensitive part of the plant, so that doesn't get too much frost. This one's been, again, this one, the first year it didn't really root well, and that was a bit unstable, so I did have to sort of mound it up a bit. It hasn't really got a trunk as such, so the whole plant was just rocking at soil level. So I just built it up a little bit just to give it a bit more stability, and it seems to be doing all right. So again, with this one you are going to see damage on the leaves. I think the attraction to this one is that it's supposed to have the wider leaf, especially as they get bigger. You get a bit of trunk and they get quite wide, nice leaves, and you've got that nice orange stripe down the centre of the leaf. But for me, I'm definitely liking the superstars at the minute, just to the fact of that is a proper wide leaf on these, and they're a nice deeper maroon purple than your standard standard red star. I know they're still quite hard to get hold of. I mean, there is a bit of a story behind these. I've done some videos when I bought them, but I originally ordered some from a online nursery. I waited for a couple of months and kept on contacting them, and then they cancelled the order, said they couldn't get hold of them. So they held on to my money for 2 months and not even bother letting me know. So luckily in the spring I bought one at full price. I think they're about 25 quid. So not cheap, but like I say, they're quite hard to get hold of. So I bought one, and they are good sized plants as well. And then we had some late frosts. Went back to the same nursery, and they'd had some frost damage, and they'd knocked them down to 5 quid each. So I bought another couple. But yeah, really nice splash of purple in the sea of green. Not that it's overly green at the minute, with most things died back. Obviously all the palms still absolutely fine. So you don't tend to get the extreme colds that's going to give them any problems. This waggy is so stiff, it's unbelievable. That is really a nice plant, that one. Right, so at the back here, I almost forgot I had it, because that's been covered up all summer. Got the polycarpa there, Fatsia green fingers. It's put on a little bit of growth last summer, but as everyone knows, we didn't have the best growing season. So I'm hoping this year's going to be a bit better. We live in hope. So the old tomato tree, as suspected, obviously it's dropped all its leaves now. The new where it's started to branch off. These were quite thin, so that's obviously been hit by the frost, and that'll probably die back. And we've got hardwood about here, and you can still see it's quite green here, so I won't be surprised at all if we do get some heavier frost, if that dies back to the old wood, if you like. But yeah, we'll see on this. I don't know exactly how hardy they are. I know they're sort of a bit borderline in a lot of places, but like I say, I think I'm quite lucky with the don't really get extreme colds here, but you never know. In fact, there's still one of the fruits here, so I might just out of interest open it up and see. Probably because it's not mature, there's probably not any mature seeds there, but right, the gimbal battery has just died, so it's going to be a bit wobbly, I'm afraid, but we'll leave it there anyway. Just thought I'd do a video on nothing particular, but while the sun's out, we'll get out and let people know what's going on. Another job I really need to do is neaten up this grapevine. As you can see, it's sort of all the new growth was put on this year. I need to tie that in, and probably extend the trellis a little bit more along the fence there to get it grown all the way along, so a nice green wall there in the summer. Another good little job really for this time of year, I guess, is any fruit trees. I know it's sort of a bit off topic, it's not really a tropical situation, but so I have got a couple of apple trees and a plum tree here, which the plum tree actually went mental this year, or last year should I say. So I'm going to cut a lot of that back. I want it really just neat along the fence, tie that in, chop it back a bit. Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.